have 3 buckets of paint, 8 sample colors, 3D printed flower stencils, and 10 days to figure out what to do with them. Let's go! Hi there, thank you so much for being here today. If this is your first time on my channel, I'm Manu and this is Studio Manu. If this is not your first time here, thank you so much for coming back. So, today we are here to continue the video series of redecorating my studio. So last video we put together these 2 shelves back here with all the materials, all the machines we have in the studio. And today it's time to get painting. So last year, around the same time last year, I painted our living room and kitchen downstairs. And since then I have quite a lot of leftover paint. I have 3 buckets of paint that you saw in the start. And they have different levels of how much paint there is left. So I've been kind of thinking what I can do with these leftover paint so far. And I'm not sure what time you're watching this, but for me here, today is actually Christmas Day. It's the 25th of December 2025. And that means I'm on holiday break right now, which means I have 10 days completely to myself to figure out what to do with these walls, what to do with this paint. And as you can see here, I've already been doing some thinking about what I want to do. So I have 3D printed a couple of stencils that I want to try out playing with. And I have some freshly new gifts, Christmas gifts that I received that I would also like to incorporate in the decoration in here. So we have these 3D wall figures kind of things with these 2 birds, and here another hummingbird. And yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing this series, and I'm so glad that you're here to follow me with.
The wall I'm painting this time is this one leading to my bedroom and the balcony, creating a small little nook. My main goal is to use the paint I already have to create this corner that is cozy and has a little bit more personality. So I hope that all the years of saving interior design inspirations in Pinterest and my skills on Canva can help me with this one, because here is what I envision for the wall. My idea is to split the wall in 2 main colors, light blue, mustard yellow, and some light pink details. My hope is that the yellow bottom half adds warmness to the room, while the light blue top half of the wall makes sure the room stays bright and doesn't lose too much natural light. To add a little retro touch to the wall, I want to experiment painting flowers on the yellow background with stencils that I 3D printed at home. So considering that the stencils will be painted as a second layer of color on the wall, I decided to start painting the yellow part first. This way the wall has the most time to dry before starting to paint the flowers, and while the blue paint is still being painted. Waking up the next day is when the mess of the project really kicked in for me, and I had to remind myself that the mess is a temporary and natural part of the process. So I went ahead and continued painting the blue color on the wall, and just to be sure the yellow paint really was dry and settled to the wall, I waited until the next day to start working on the pink details, the rails, and to start using the flower stencils. Trapholt is this museum of modern art, craft, and design in the city of Kolding in Denmark. The museum is known for immersive exhibitions, for having a large collection of Danish furniture design, and for collaborative artworks that invite you to not just look at art, but feel art. I thought it could be nice for us to come and visit Trapholt while the wall is drying at home, because from January 2026, Trapholt will be closed to the public for 14 months for a construction to expand the museum. So visiting this last time kind of felt like something between a quiet goodbye and an anxious see you soon. The main attraction, Feel Me, is an exhibition about the emotional connection between mind, body, and space. The exhibition features works designed to be experienced with the body, the senses, and time, reminding that creativity doesn't only come from making, but also from noticing, and that sometimes the best creative progress starts with a pause.
Before we continue, I actually wanted to read something to you that I found, because as yesterday, as you saw, I had a little break from painting to go to Trapholt, which is this design and art museum in Denmark. And I love going there. I go there several times a year. And this time when I was leaving, I decided to get this book about Verner Panton, who is one of my absolute favorite designers ever. And a couple of years ago, Trapholt had exhibition about Verner Panton there, and I didn't get to get the book that time, but this time around I did. And while I was reading the book on the way home, I found this section here called My Design Philosophy. And it is a speech that Verner Panton gave to some peers and the public for the first time in 1980, where he talks about his design philosophy. I think this is really good timing to find this, because it gives me encouragement to continue with the project. I feel like every time I start painting a new wall, I need to remind myself a million times that trust the process, trust the process, trust the process, because, you know, that's just how colors and paint work. And while they're wet, they're not really the final tone that you want to see when the job is done. So it always feels completely wrong before the color settles in and it all looks fine. But I think it was really nice timing to find this. Why do most interiors look relatively similar? Is it about a lack of imagination, money, or opportunities? When you speak about a harmonious home, do you mean the decor or the people? Should one psychoanalyze people before building their home? Should the architect, like Neutra did, spend months living with a family before embarking on drafting their house? I probably know 1,000 houses that look good from the outside, but why is it so difficult for me to name just 50 interiors of the same quality? Isn't it more important what a house looks like inside the house than outside? Is it a less successful experiment not often better than a good standard interior? Do we not find many interior designers who make the greatest efforts to make all interiors look the same? Is there a reluctance to experiment because it takes time? Is the interior designer afraid of what his colleagues would say if he created something unusual? Are people with imagination unpopular? These thoughts and these questions Verner Panton was framing here in his speech really encouraged me to continue my crazy wall work, if that's how some people see it. I just see it as paint and a way of, like how he says, dressing the house a little different. And again, it's just paint. If I don't like it afterwards, I can just cover it and do something else. But for now, let's give it a try.